Energy.
Intense.
Valuable.
Inspiring.
Boom.
HYPERDRIVE is a collection of individuals trying to accelerate the success of their business in a very condensed period of time.
We're very interested in seeing startups do well and providing them with access to mentorship, other technical skills that they might need.
Most companies, when they're starting out, they need a combination of capital and mentorship. And there was no way to put companies in a program that provided both of those ingredients. And so HYPERDRIVE really addresses that. It's finding the right companies, giving them some capital, and accelerating them to find their market and customer.
There's obviously an application process, a screening process.
I go through hundreds of applications to get down to maybe 5 companies that we can bring in. Lots of people with great ideas, lots of great teams, but it's the chemistry of having the right team and the right idea at the verge of being able to accelerate.
The early stages of HYPERDRIVE are addressing what are their needs and how do we dive in, and then from there a sprint to achieving that specific objective in the defined period of time. HYPERDRIVE is located here in Kitchener-Waterloo in the Tannery building.
What's unique about the region is that there's a very high density of tech companies. In a population of maybe 600,000, there is over 1,000 tech companies.
The culture has been really upbeat from the very beginning, with lots of support, a sense of camaraderie and community, which is completely consistent with how Waterloo works in general. If you look at startups in downtown Toronto, they're absolutely isolated. There's a startup here, there might be thousands, you just don't know who they are. Here, it's much more like a community. And I've seen many cases of startups helping each other.
There is a huge community behind this from all of the early cohorts, a channel for us to go and seek advice for the problems we're facing that have very likely been solved before.
The Waterloo ecosystem is a combination of so many factors that you cannot recreate overnight. It certainly is the education system, the facility, the people, the funding in terms of government as well as private individuals. You've got a lot of individuals who have started companies, raised hundreds of millions of capital. They all exist around this ecosystem, and they're all willing to pitch in for the HYPERDRIVE program.
So the ecosystem is HYPERDRIVE. It's what brings the whole thing together, makes it all work.
There's a really great framework that Communitech has created, and it's attracted a ton of ingredients that then live inside that framework. So Communitech is a giant nonprofit, and they are here to help companies start, grow, and succeed. In addition to that, they've got the University of Waterloo has a formal program here called Velocity, or Wilfrid Laurier University has a program here called the Launchpad. BlackBerry's in the building. So it's kind of like, what are all the resources that young startups need, and how can we facilitate getting those either in the building or very close and easy to access? And then as companies grow and start, grow, and succeed, you know, they put back in. So can you mentor a company that's a little bit younger than you? That's the ecosystem. And I think it's working really well.
If people often ask, is HYPERDRIVE easy for startups? I would say absolutely not. Doing a startup is probably the hardest thing you can do, short of having a successful marriage.
I would describe HYPERDRIVE as anything but easy. I mean, it's late nights, it's early mornings, it's some of the hardest work you will do in your entire life.
They ask a lot of you, but I think it's almost like parents asking a lot of you when you're growing up. You know,
Because they want the best for you.
And they want you to be prepared for the real world.
One of our mantras as a company is, we didn't say it would be easy, but we said it would be worth it. And I think HYPERDRIVE is a good example of that.
I think if you look at the broader spectrum of entrepreneurship and starting a business, the success rate isn't very high. But I believe that the success rate through HYPERDRIVE is certainly much higher than starting a business and not being part of an accelerator program. The input that I give back to the founder is, at the end of the day, it's your business and your decisions to be made, and HYPERDRIVE is one of the components you're going to use to accelerate your company. But for sure, expect it to be tough. Building a business is tough. If you think HYPERDRIVE is one of the tougher challenges you'll go through, you're fooling yourself. It only gets tougher, the treadmill gets steeper, it gets harder, and you have to accelerate the pace at which you're willing to run.